The next character added to the game in the order that we're talking through is another duelist, which we've had a lot of those. So let's talk a little bit about Phoenix. Phoenix, I think, is actually built very, very well in this game with how she functions and how well her abilities were translated to the game itself. Now, are there things that I dislike about Phoenix? Absolutely, but that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about if we had to implement something more into her kit that doesn't currently have any representation, what would that be, and theoretically, what would that look like? So let's have a look at those abilities and then get into my thought process as to why I would add what I'm going to suggest. So there's two different sides of the character. There is, of course, Jean Grey, and Jean Grey on her own has the capacity to use astral projection, telekinesis, telepathy, and empathy. And when imbued with the power of the Phoenix Force, she gains the abilities of cosmic pyrokinesis, matter manipulation, resurrection, teleportation, and immortality. Now, again, they kind of fudge that last one because you can't have a truly immortal character in this style of game. There is a representation for the teleportation. The resurrection is also present in the Phoenix Rebirth that she kind of gets after using her ultimate, as she gets her health topped off, as well as reappearing back where she initiated the use of the ability as opposed to where she actually lands. And then Cosmic Pyrokinesis is really the entirety of her damage dealing kit, which means that there's not a ton of representation of her base form ability. She's leaning pretty heavily on what the Phoenix Force allows her to do. So if I were to make a suggestion of something that could be added to her kit, I would lean into the empathy aspect, and here's what that would look like. Now, a lot of her abilities are based around dealing damage to her opponents, and that makes a lot of sense because that is the style of character that she is and the way that she's built. But if you were to make a change to her abilities and give her an additional ability that would then go on her F keybind, I think the way that you could do that and make that look most thematic would be to add an ability where she can link with one of her teammates. And more specifically, that should give you a little indication somewhere as to what that ally's current health is. That's what I would recommend in terms of adding to the character and things that you could do to make her more in line with her comic origins. Again, a lot of what she's able to do is represented via the Phoenix Force and not Jean's abilities. And that would allow you to peel a little bit more for your allies when and if they're in trouble, because you would have an on-screen indication as to what's going on with your teammates, so you can offer support or at least make your team more aware of something that's happening when and if something goes wrong with the ally that you are linked to. But what do you think? Is there a different change that you would like to see made to Phoenix? I'm very interested to hear what you have to say in the comments below. And as always, if you enjoyed today's video, feel free to leave a like, follow, and share with someone who would enjoy this video also. We'll be back to talk about Blade tomorrow.